dominating performance this afternoon for William Byron. He and Rudy Fugle sending an early season message to the rest of the garage.
The second win in his career. William Byron scores the win here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that guy has been huge for my career. He's the reason I'm here, and you know, I'm glad we could get him.
And here comes Tyler Reddick into the fray. Takes the number 2 spot away from Kyle Larson.
Tyler Reddick comes home second.
Yeah, second's great, but I saw how much faster I was than those guys there at the end, so naturally it's frustrating.
Hi everybody, time once again for a NASCAR America Splash and Go. I'm Kelly Stavis, joined by the mayor, Jeff Burton, and everybody's favorite crew chief, Steve Letarte. And crew chief, you were this weekend. Steve, what was it like being back at the track, in the garage, and on top of the pit box?
It was fun. I was excited for the opportunity. It was great to climb on the box. It had been 6 years, so it kind of a lot of old memories came back. It was fun. It was exciting. But to your point, the garage was perhaps the best part. I hadn't been in there in almost 18 months. So walking around and seeing all those faces from Zoom actually in person was a really nice change.
Well, I know a mechanical ended your day early, so a little bit of disappointment, but a fun experience and fun for all of us to watch you. Fun, Jeff, it was an unbelievable weekend of racing in Homestead-Miami, capped off with William Byron picking up his second career win. What do you make of the start of the season for that young man?
Well, listen, I think that if you said we're going to bring Rudy Fugle in as a crew chief, a longtime truck crew chief, had a lot of success, and we're going to win week 3, I would think that they would say, we'll take that. I just, you know, it takes time for these things to gel. Those two have worked well together in the past, but not on cup cars and not competing against this type of competition to get a win that early and the way they won. I mean, they dominated the last third of that race. I mean, there was no one that had the speed that they had. Tyler Reddick obviously late in the race, but you know, that was just a dominating performance, a new relationship between those two guys in the Cup Series. It bodes well for the future.
Yeah, Steve, how big of a step up is that coming from crew chiefing in the Truck Series to come out and win third time out in the Cup Series?
So my biggest question was, how is Rudy going to, you know, adapt to the size of the organization? You know, just understanding how many people they have working and trying to help. While that's all good, it can be overwhelming when you receive all these reports and all this information, but it seems like he must be filtering it very well. Really, the organization as a whole, I think, is running very well, right? We saw the 5 up there, the 48 up there, the 9 had his times where he was up there and in the back, but all 400 cars in the top 14, you have to ask yourself, you know, the other big change when it comes to William Byron is Chad Knaus. Like, he's not on the pit box anymore. What is he doing behind the scenes to perhaps try to organize and get this place, I don't want to say heading in the right direction, because they're there, they've been there. Heck, they won the championship a year ago, but we all know how quick the sport moves. And you get nervous, or at least I always did every year. How would that first mile and a half go? And it seems like they are pretty good. But when you circle around the 24 specifically, Kyle Larson, I don't think anybody else would have been shocked if we said Kyle Larson won at Miami. But for William Byron to win his first mile and a half, I know Daytona was great, but this was his first mile and a half. We all know if you can win in the mile and a half, you can go a long ways in this sport.
Sure. All right. There was a lot to talk about, and we're definitely going to get back to that race at Homestead-Miami. But first, we need to check out our Motorsports Junction moment of the week, and it's a doozy. It comes from Monster Jam. It was Houston round 3, and you got to check this video out. And Steve, I want to get your thoughts on the crew chief reacting to what his driver is doing out there.
He knows the event championship is well within his grasp. He needs to finish strong, and there's some big air for Todd LeDuc. Oh! And a save right here. Can he land it? Oh! He's got it up. He got it! He's definitely got a big foiling bar after that one, though.
Go, 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 go. Nice job, buddy. Nice job.
The score is in. The crowd erupts. Our new leader is Todd LeDuc in Monster Energy. He is now in the driver's seat.
Listen, all I'll say is I try to drive a whole lot of cars from the pit box, and I was never that successful. So a pretty good job of getting the information. A little bit spot or a little bit crew chief, but exciting nonetheless.
Yeah, the truck is pirouetting, and he's just telling Todd LeDuc, just go, go, go. Stay in it, stay in it. Let's get back to Miami. And Jeff, I want to get your thoughts sort of on the start to the season, because you look at the first 3 winners in the Cup Series. They have a grand total now of 4 career wins. Just nobody could have predicted this, right?
No one could have predicted this. And not only that, but, the way that Michael McDowell has run, look at where he is in points. Look at how he's run every single week. If you'd have told me that, I'd have said there's no way. But, that shows you the strength that team is working on. And I'll tell you, Steve, you and I have been in this situation when you're driving for a big car owner that's spending way more money and they're beating you. There's a lot of pressure on Mondays. That ramps it up pretty quickly. But I do want to caution people, not about McDowell or anybody in particular, but we've had 3 specialty races right here. I mean, Daytona is obviously Daytona. Then a road course is a road course. And then Homestead. There's nothing like Homestead. There's no other racetrack like Homestead. So I still don't know that we know where everybody stacks up. There's so many questions left in my mind. I think the next 2 weeks will help answer those questions. But there's no track like Homestead. There's no road course like the road course at Daytona. It's just so many unknowns. If your guy's not doing well right now, don't panic. And if your guy is doing well, don't think you got everything figured out, because there's a lot of challenges and a lot of changes coming in the next several months.
Hey, the only thing I will say, though, Jeff, is why you're absolutely right. It's the start of the season with 3 very, non-traditional racetracks. It's a regular season of non-traditional. I mean, there's only 26 regular season races. 7 road courses give you 19 ovals. Take a couple speedways out. Now you're down to 17 ovals. Take the dirt race out. Now you're down to 16 ovals. Atlanta, Miami. You can start, talking about the custom tracks all you want. But when I look at the schedule, we keep talking about the moments of the schedule. The biggest thing is I don't think anything is traditional. The entire season, the playoffs, yes, I agree with you, Jeff. The guys that are good at the more standard tracks should succeed in the playoffs. But the path to the playoffs is very non-traditional. And for that reason, I'm not going to say 16 winners, but I am going to say big names may be left out of the playoffs because it is not 10 or 15 mile-and-a-half racetracks. It's anything but this year in the regular season.
Well, listen, since this playoff started, this formula started, we have talked about, can we get 16, 17, 18 winners? And I've always said, no, it's not going to happen. But for everything that you just said, we already have 3, I don't want to say complete surprise winners, but, there were people that were favored to win before these guys were. With the road courses and all the things that you just talked about, is this the year that we could see 16 or 17 winners? Could someone win a race and not make the playoffs? Is that the kind of year that we're going to see, not only in the Cup Series, but in all the series, because of the addition of the road courses and the other things that happened? If we've ever had an opportunity, I think this is the year that could happen.
Yeah, I agree with it. If you looked at it, we're only 3 races in, but you've seen guys like Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman right now outside of that top 16 if we were to move into the playoffs. So to your point, it's setting up to be interesting. Another driver that really stood out at the end of that race was Tyler Reddick, and we heard him at the beginning, Jeff. He really sounded a little bit disappointed and dejected with second. Given all the circumstances, the team he drives for, his experience in the Cup Series or lack thereof, should he be happy with second or should he be disappointed?
Yes, you could do both. Listen, I think if you're Tyler Reddick and you honestly step back and you look at the race, and you're like, at what point of the race did I have the best car? The percentage was way too low to win the race, right? You have to put yourself in position more often within the race, unless you get that late race restart or something like that. But kudos to them. Richard Childress Racing, they've come out stronger this year. I think they've made some advances. The same I can say with Roush Fenway, but that team has also made some advances. So, I get it why Tyler Reddick was upset, because he was silly fast. I mean, it was crazy how much faster he was in the field. We've seen that before, Steve, at Homestead. Somebody gets up there ripping the wall. They can make so much more time than everybody else, but you got to be able to restart second, third, fourth on that last restart to get that track position, and they just never had it all day. So I understand what he's saying, but he take a step back. He got everything there was to get on that day.
Yeah, I like a driver that's disappointed. It wasn't over the top. I think that keeps the company. You got to remember, when drivers are talking to the media, it's not just the media. They're also talking to all their teammates in the shop that watch this race and hear what their driver had to say. And it wasn't disappointed because of the lack of win. He said, I saw how much faster I was. Well, that's a tip in the, little feather in the cap of everyone that worked on that race car, right? So it was more, what I was reading between the lines is he's going to go back and talk to his crew chief, and to Jeff's point, figure out how are we not in better position because we had the speed. So, a pat on the back to everyone in Welcome, North Carolina that's giving him the equipment. And it's great to be disappointed with second. We've said time and time again, to win races, you must consistently run up front. And how many times did we see Chase Elliott, last year's champion? How many seconds did he have to come with? How many times did we talk about his disappointment? Well, that disappointment led to a championship. That drive to be better led to a championship. So I didn't think it was over the top. I didn't think it was outrageous. I thought it was exactly what I would like to see, a driver that doesn't get out all smiles after getting beat. There's something about getting beat, right? You want to win, and that's what I like to see out of Tyler Reddick.
Sometimes it seems that second place stings more than anything else, right? Well, I wish we had at least 2 races in Miami each year, because I just love the racing there. And Saturday led us into that great race on Sunday in the Cup Series. Saturday's race, the Xfinity Series, was phenomenal. And we have to give a big shout out, of course, to our own teammate, Marty Snyder's son, Myatt, who picked up his first career Xfinity Series win. And did it in thrilling fashion. What stood out to you about that race, other than the disappointment, Jeff, of course, for your son Harrison and his mechanical issues?
Well, that's racing, and we talked about it before. You got to put yourself in position. Obviously, Noah Gragson sitting there looking like he's got that race won. David Starr had a tire come apart in front of him and ended up, getting in the wall, and then Noah couldn't stop it. That's racing. That's the stuff that happens in racing. That's why you never turn the TV off, right? You never leave the seat because you don't know what's going to happen. But all that aside, I mean, you really got to give Myatt Snyder some serious kudos for stepping up and trying and winning that race against one of the Cup Series rising stars in Tyler Reddick. He didn't get a great restart the first time, but the second time he learned, he applied, he left turn 2 with a big lead. What can you ask of a young driver? So Myatt Snyder stepped up and took that win. Nobody gave it to him. He took that win.
Yeah, the business gamble to go full-time in the 21. We all know what it takes to run full-time in a car. And the biggest point to me was what Jeff just said. He learned from the first one. This is not a young man that has a lot of front row restarts, right? He's run up front some last year, but, Tyler Reddick has restarted way more races on the front row and understand the games that are played. So bravo, Myatt, for taking one chance and saying, okay, what did I do wrong? What can I improve on? That perhaps is more impressive than the win for me. That's the type of race car driver I'm looking for. One that can, remember, no practice, no testing, a lot of no's in these drivers' world. So what little bit of opportunity you have, absorb as much as you can. He did it, and it paid off with the trophy. That's a good weekend.
It was a great weekend. In fact, a nice way to wrap up the Florida swing, as we're calling it. And we're going to be back with Splash and Go again on Wednesday as we look ahead to the West Coast swing. They're headed to my home track, Las Vegas, and then Phoenix from there. So we'll see everyone on Wednesday. For Jeff, Steve, I'm Kelly Stavist. Thanks for watching.
Hey, Motorsports fans, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe before you go for all the latest news and highlights across motorsports.